to Basics. It's Dana, Miss Dangerous, and it's March. Happy March. I hope those of you who are in cold weather parts of the world start experiencing spring pretty soon here as we enter into the month of March. This month we're talking about self-sabotage, and the first week of the month is our mind week, and so we're talking about kind of our mind and aspects to self-sabotage. And so the questions are really about, do I self-sabotage? If so, do I know why or can explain why? And do I make excuses for self-sabotage? Before starting this video, I thought, well, I think I know what self-sabotage means to me, but let me go out and look at a couple things about self-sabotage and just kind of, get my thinking crystallized around it. So, first of all, I kind of looked up the word sabotage, and it says like willful destruction or obstruction as in a military purpose. Well, yeah, that's originally how it was brought about. And then I looked up self-sabotage. Well, the definitions are a little bit different for self-sabotage depending on where you look. Some of them talked about kind of this willfulness, but some of them talked about kind of more of an underhanded way. And I think when we think about self-sabotage, a lot of times we do think about it as in kind of an underhanded way where we are tearing ourselves down or preventing ourselves from reaching our goals or, stopping ourselves from doing something that we want to do. So I'm really going to take it more in that tone. Yes, I sometimes self-sabotage. I think the interesting thing as I was looking through this little bit of research is when I saw some of the behaviors that folks consider self-sabotage, I went, oh, I'm probably a bigger self-sabotager than I really ever thought about. So first of all, let me tell you about the things that came to my mind when this question was first posed. It was things like eating. Do I sometimes self-sabotage by my eating? Yes, I do. For instance, I buy things and bring them into the house that I know I have a hard time avoiding. That might be Girl Scout cookies. That might be, snack mix or whatever. So I might do that. Sometimes I buy something and I just eat it there. Girl Scout cookies was the prime example that was on my mind recently because I successfully avoided them for months, and there seemed like a month, and then, one day on the way out the grocery store, I bought a box and proceeded to eat a box over the course of a day. So yes, I practice that with eating sometimes, where I purchase the things that I know I really have a hard time with, and I bring them into the house. That's the hardest part for me, is when they're there and sitting there. Like if I went to a restaurant or a party, it's easier to avoid that. You're only there for a short time period. So it's easier for me to avoid something. The self-sabotage is when, if I love brownies, I love chocolate chip cookies, there are certain things, or snack mix. And it's here, you bring a big quantity in, and it just sits there, and you think, and I have trouble avoiding it over and over again. That really is, I know in advance I have trouble with those foods. Bringing them in is an act of self-sabotage. That was probably the biggest behavior that jumped out at me. Negative self. So I was listening back to my video before I posted it, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to insert this in the middle of the video or if it'll have to be a tag at the end. So, having a chocolate chip cookie is not self-sabotage to me. Having a Girl Scout Samoa cookie is not self-sabotage to me. One or two. Having the box. Buying the box, knowing that I'm the only one that has the box, And I have no intent to go home and say, y'all all have these Samoas. I'm going to have one or two, and everybody else is going to have the rest. That's self-sabotage. Buying the 3-pound box of pub mix when it's only my husband and I that live in this house. And, you know, we have Christmas Eve with our 2 grown kids, but then knowing that pub mix is going to be sitting here for the next however long until it's gone. That is the problem. Me having a half cup of pub mix, 1 serving, and be done with it today, and maybe even if it was only 1 serving every day for the next few days, as long as that's the goal, but I say it's within that, that's not self-sabotage. So, you know, I'm in maintenance, and I want to live a life of balance. So I want to be able to have a treat every now and then. My problem is where it gets into self-sabotage is having the 1 portion and it being done today, for instance, versus saying I'm going to do a binge, mini binge, whatever you want to call it, or I'm going to have a portion every day for days and days and days and days, and that is preventing me from moving forward. That's the difference between living a life of balance and a self-sabotage behavior. I feel like I need to put that in there. Now, if I were in the goal losing phase, the losing phase, the fact that I'm having even 1 cookie or 2 cookies every day could be preventing me from my goal. But I'm in a maintenance phase. So it kind of, you know, what you need to do changes where you are on the path. And I don't want to say just the fact that you have whatever it is and eating is self-sabotage. I don't think that's the case unless that in itself is preventing you from something else that you're wanting to achieve. So I don't know if that helps. Talk to you later. Bye. Negative self-talk is another one that I knew. And, you know, I think I'm a mediocre negative self-talker. I'm sometimes practice negative self-talk, but a lot of times I don't. I do catch myself saying things like, Dana, you dumb shit, to myself. And I don't really think I'm a dumb shit. I don't know. So it's like, why do you say that? But sometimes I get more down on myself, and you know I have more negative self-talk. So do that. Here was the thing that triggered off when I was doing the little web research. But I went, holy cow! Procrastination is seen as self-sabotage, and I am a horrible, horrible, horrible procrastinator in many, many, many aspects of my life. In my career, like work stuff that needs to be done, in my home life that needs to be done. And some of it is because I just don't like what I want to do, and some of it's just whatever. So why do I self-sabotage? Do I know why I self-sabotage? Or when I'm in that behavior, do I know why I'm doing it? Sometimes I know. Sometimes it is out of stress. So the recent encounter with Girl Scout cookies was really, I was super duper 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 stressed. It had been stressful for a matter of weeks. I was running on lack of sleep, and I finally said, you know, it was an outlet for stress. And I knew that when I was doing it, and, you know, that's what it was. So sometimes I know that. Sometimes I self-sabotage in anger, I think. I use them, and I mean, these are it's coping kind of stuff, I guess. So I don't know, is it self-sabotage because you're setting yourself up, you know, getting in the way of your goals, or is it just that's the behavior is the coping mechanism, and the coping mechanism happens to be a self-sabotaging coping mechanism? That's probably what it is. You know, when I'm really, really stressed, you know, rather than eating the cookies, you know, because that's a self-sabotaging behavior, I need to just find a different coping mechanism. Sometimes if I'm really angry, I might self-sabotage, where I'm pissed, damn it, I'm pissed. I can't necessarily express that level of anger and get it out because it would be hurtful, or because I just can't let it go for whatever reason. And so sometimes I think I do it in anger, and that may be at myself and at others. So those are probably, and then sometimes I think it's just probably some of the stuff, especially procrastination, is more because it's probably more because what I really want isn't in alignment with what I really want, with what I say I want. And so I think that could be it. So no, I don't always know why I self-sabotage. And sometimes it's funny, as far as an eating behavior, I find sometimes that I am putting stuff in my mouth and I shouldn't be doing this, and yet I can't really stop myself from doing it. Not good. Don't know. Do I make excuses? Well, I think you be the judge on that. You just heard a whole bunch of stuff that came out of my mouth that sounded like, yeah, I mean, I think to some extent all of those were excuses. Now, are they valid excuses? Are they good enough excuses? I have to be the judge of that. I guess if you are self-sabotaging and you understand the reason for the self-sabotaging and you don't do something about it, that's your excuse. And, it's my choice to do that or whatever. I don't know. These are hard questions. They take a lot of self-thought and digging, which is, I think, what Miss Janie was wanting us to do for ourselves, and hopefully spur some thoughts for you. So I'll do some more noodling around in my head on this topic, and I hope you will also. And I look forward to hearing what the other bloggers have to say this week. Talk to you later. I hope you have a great one. Bye.